Hey, welcome back to Story Not Story.
Hey,
Hey.
that's what I was going to say.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hello, welcome back to Story Not Story.
Yeah, you did it way better than I did.
Oh, I wasn't done.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Actually, a little too much. A little too much there in the end.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You went too far. So what are we going to talk about this week?
Well, guess what?
What?
We are returning to Tumblin Toby, the Tumblin Toby saga.
Yes, we are. Because, you know, we've received hundreds,
Countful.
thousands even, of emails and carrier pigeons and everything. People
yelling at me on the street.
just demanding more Tumblin Toby.
Yes.
Yeah, none of that has happened.
Well, no. But last time we did it, people liked it and the continuation, and they said they wanted us to continue it. So,
Did they?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So let's do it. Some people did, anyway.
Some people did.
We're not that popular of a podcast, so not that many people are responding.
That's true.
Tell your friends, tell your grandparents about our podcast.
Yeah.
And tell you, think of the most famous person you know, tell them about our podcast.
Yeah, tweet them and say, listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
That'll be really effective.
I sure will.
We're gonna go so viral.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, it's Tumblin Toby.
Yeah.
So this will be the
This will be the 4th episode featuring Tumblin Toby.
4th episode. This will be and the 4th and 5th installments. No, 5th and 6th installments.
No, the 6th and 7th
6th
installment.
and 7th installments.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah. So we did. Well, a very quick recap of Tumblin Toby right here. I got it.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Tell us.
Okay.
Tell me.
So there's this kingdom of thorns ruled by Queen Susan.
Yep.
And she gives out cake to her citizens.
Yes.
Tumblin Toby and the Cake Brigade really wanted that cake. They're not from the kingdom. They broke in. They tried to get the cake. They got caught. They went to jail. They escaped jail. In the escaping of jail, it was revealed that Tumblin Toby has a special ability in which, see, he's the reason they got caught because he fell and made noise. But he has this,
the name.
Hence the name Tumblin Toby. But also, when he tumbles, when he falls, he has what is called wherewithal, which is like everything slows down for him, like the Matrix.
Yeah.
Like, it's normal time for everyone else, but for him, like a normal tumble is like 5 minutes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But like, and then later, they dress up as a traveling band to escape the kingdom.
Yes.
Get roped into being part of the band, and then Tumblin Toby breaks all of his strings, and so they can't play. And then they escape. And then Tumblin Toby falls down a hill into thorns, and
Gets him in his butt parts.
Gets him in his butt parts. The brigands all stand around arguing about should they save him or should they continue to escape. 2 other brigands, Petey Three Lips and Stinky Jones, also nicknamed One Arm, even though he has 2 arms, but he throws with 1 arm most of the time.
Right.
And
most of the time, unless 2 arms are required.
Yeah, and Petey Three Lips has 2 lips, but he drinks out of the lip of a cup.
Right. That's the 3rd lip.
Yeah. And there's also Stanley, other characters that have been established. Stanley, 2 legs, and Terrence, 1 brain. We won't get into their nicknames. But, so Stinky Jones and Petey, they decide to go back into the kingdom via catapult.
Yes.
Because they want the cake. And while we were telling that story, we were referring to Stinky as Stanley on accident.
Oops.
That's a different character. But anyway.
We're going to fix it this time, though, probably.
And then while they're doing that, Queen Susan...
Wait a second.
Oh.
Okay, so using the catapult, Stinky Jones launches Petey Three Lips back over the wall into the kingdom, and on the other side, he finds a shed filled with like cakes and delicious desserts that are being stored there because there's going to be a big festival in the kingdom. So that's where all of the desserts for the whole festival are being stored. He finds that and starts devouring everything and calls to Stinky Jones to get over there because there's all this cake. But Stinky Jones realizes he can't operate the catapult by himself, so he's stuck on the other side of the wall.
Yes. Queen Susan fires a weather weapon that she has.
Yeah.
And makes it rain, and it has chemicals in it, and it makes everyone agreeable and lazy. And so the brigands decide, well, we're just going to go home. And they take Tumblin Toby. They get his thorns out of his butt parts. And they go home and they read a book about farming.
Yes, it's called How to Farm in Medieval Times.
Yes, which is written by the guards that
work at
the guard.
castle.
One guard and his son who work at the castle that are named Gregory and Bevan.
Just in case they come up, so you know.
Just in case they come up, and they say everything very literally. Those guards do.
Yeah, they're very literal.
And Pete Stinky also leaves, so it's just Petey now in the room
shed.
full, the shed, and there are guards approaching him.
Oh yeah, no,
because it's not raining in the kingdom.
Yeah, it doesn't rain in the kingdom. And it's not guards approaching the shed, it's the staff of the festival that's coming to happen. They're coming to retrieve all the desserts to take out to put around for the festival.
Sure.
But many of them have been devoured, and he's who knows what's going to happen.
In the future, we will try to keep this recap more brief.
Nah.
No. Okay.
It's just going to get longer. Maybe we should wrap it up.
No. We keep going, or we don't, or we don't do a recap every time.
Okay.
We could just direct people back to this recap.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so last week you went first and I went second.
Yes.
This week I'm gonna go first and you're gonna go second.
I love it.
So we're having 2 back-to-back me parts of this story.
Sure.
Back-to-back me parts.
Me parts.
Parts.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, when we last left off...
China, can you tell me a story?
Oh, yeah, what do you want me to tell you a story about?
About Tumblin Toby.
Okay, well, initially, this story is not going to have Tumblin Toby in it. I'm just telling you.
Okay.
Because we got to figure out what's going on with Petey Three Lips. All right, so, scene. We're in the shed. And Petey is sitting in the middle of the floor, surrounded by half-devoured desserts, and he's got giant handfuls of cake. He's covered in icing and frosting and crumbs and everything, and he is a very happy man until he hears footfall outside.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Stomp, 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 stomp. And he can tell that people are approaching.
Are they saying stomp as they're approaching?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, well, it is weird. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is all of them or just one of them saying stomp?
It's just one of them.
Well, who?
Derek.
Derek? Mm-hmm. Why does he do that?
He's just a weird guy.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, there was the guards who said what they were doing all the time.
No, he's really excited for the festival. He thinks it's going to be a really fun time. And sometimes, you just get kind of silly when you're filled with anticipation.
Sure.
So he's just like, stomp, 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 stomp.
Okay. And the others aren't annoyed by this?
Well, they're a little annoyed, but they're also really excited. And they know that they're getting close to the shed soon, and they'll stop walking, so he'll stop saying stomp, because he won't be walking anymore.
True.
So anyway, Petey has a little bit of warning, and he jumps up to try to find a place to hide, but the shed is so full of desserts that there's no room under any tables, and there's no, closets or anything. And then he hears a hand on the doorknob, and a lock turns. No, that doesn't make sense, because how did he get in if it was locked?
I assumed he crashed in from the roof when the catapult, when he was fired from the catapult.
I don't exactly remember what happened. I was assuming that he... Oh, goodness.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Craig moved the microphone. I was assuming that he landed outside of the shed and then walked in to it.
Okay.
But I don't remember what happened. He crashed in.
He crashed in.
Yeah. So he hears the lock turn and the doorknob turn very slowly and begin to creak open. And
I'm so scared.
Yeah. And the door swings open, and there's a bunch of workers. I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen. I don't know. And
Me
they
too.
see Petey standing there in the middle, frozen in fear, covered in cake and dessert and crumbs and stuff, and like 90% of the desserts are destroyed, unusable.
Oh no.
Because he gobbled up so much of them.
Oh no.
Yeah. And you know what? If he hadn't eaten so many desserts, he probably could have just climbed back up through the hole that he crashed in from.
But he doesn't fit now?
Well, he would still fit because you don't really gain weight that quickly.
Sure, that's
just not how it works.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. But he's just not feeling very good.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little sick to his stomach from all the desserts.
Sure.
So
they opened the door and nothing happened. They saw him.
They see him.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, you. What the heck is going on here, buddy?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I don't know."
See, I would assume, do they know who he is? Do they recognize him as a brigand, or is he covered in cake and they can't recognize him?
He's covered in cake, and so they don't know if he's just someone from the kingdom or what. But they're like, we have to take you in because you have destroyed everything. It's pretty clear that you did it. The evidence is all here.
Mm-hmm. He's not going to try to lie about it or anything?
No, because something else that we don't know about Petey Three Lips yet is that he's very honest.
Oh, really?
To a fault.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So he cannot tell a lie. And he's like, "You're right. I ate all these desserts. All I've ever wanted my whole life was desserts. And when I saw them, I just couldn't resist. Mm-hmm. So I gobbled them all up. Sorry, bros."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, that's understandable because we here in the Kingdom of Thorns love desserts too, obviously, because we're throwing a festival about it. Mm-hmm. And totally understandable, bro. But also, you've ruined everything, so we're gonna, we're gonna call the guards and you're gonna be arrested."
No.
Yeah. So guards come, take him, throw him in the dungeon.
Which guards? Did Gregory come?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Bevan didn't come because he has to watch the entrance to the castle.
Okay.
Yeah, but Gregory came because he didn't have any other prisoners in the dungeon at this point, so he could leave and come and retrieve old Petey Three Lips. Throws him in the dungeon, locks him up.
Does he say anything while he's throwing him in the dungeon?
He says, well, when he first arrives, Gregory's like, "Hello, you have committed a crime, and I'm going to arrest you for it and throw you in the dungeon." And then they get to the dungeon.
So literal, that guy.
And he's like, "Now I'm going to unlock this cell and put you inside of it, and then I'll close the door, and then I'll lock it behind you, and then you will be locked in the cell. And that is how you get into jail."
Okay.
And then he does those things.
I like Gregory.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just doing his job, just a normal fella.
Right.
So in the meantime, the weather weapon has been disabled. Queen Susan is like, "Okay, the brigands are gone. They've gone back to their hovel, and I'll turn it off." The effects of the chemical rain take some time to wear off. So, like, a day passes, and everybody they finish reading their book about farming.
They learn anything?
Yeah, how to farm.
Just all of it?
Medieval times.
Just all of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a comprehensive guide. Have you met Gregory and Bevan?
Yeah. I have in story.
Yeah, they are not the type of fellas to leave out details.
Right.
So they know everything about farming.
Can you tell me? Do you know the details?
Well, obviously, but it's too long. It's a very long book.
Oh, I was really looking forward to learning how to farm.
Well, you
seems like it'd be good money in that.
It involves dirt and seeds and tools and
Is smelting involved at all?
Not unless you need tools.
Okay.
If you need new tools, you have to smelt, and then you can get the companion guide, How to Smelt in Medieval Times.
Okay.
And then you learn how to smelt, and then you can make your own tools.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a whole series of books.
Written by Gregory and Bevan.
Yeah.
Do they make money off of this? They
get royalties.
They successful?
Yeah.
Why are they guards then?
But it's just their passion in life. They just like to guard things.
Okay.
Yeah. Some people are made for public service,
I guess so.
Yeah. they know that they're good at it. So anyway, a night passes. They read their book. They go to sleep. They wake up the next day, and the effects are wearing off of the chemical rain. Mm-hmm. And they start looking around. Stinky Jones has come back to the hovel at this point as well. So everybody's together again, but then they start to notice someone's missing.
Uh-oh.
And it's Petey Three Lips. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Although they do have one of his lips, because they've got his cup.
His cup, yes.
Yeah, because they were using it for their competition.
The lip of the cup is one of his lips.
Yes. So, they're like, holy butts, where's Petey?
They all say that in unison?
Yeah.
Wow.
They do that a lot.
Wow.
Holy butts, where's Petey?
Okay.
And then Stinky Jones is like, I don't know why I just said holy butts, where's Petey? Because I actually know that I launched him back over the
He was just getting worked up with the crowd.
Yeah. It's hard to resist saying things in unison. It's just so much fun.
Sure. It's hard, though, I think, with that many people.
Sure.
Yeah.
How many brigands are there?
Like 20.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's like, I don't know why I said that. I know exactly where he is. I launched him over the castle wall, or the kingdom wall, back into the Kingdom of Thorns yesterday using this catapult. But then I just decided to come home. And he's like, but the last thing I heard was that he had found a shed on the other side filled with desserts. And they're like, what? He found some desserts? We gotta go and save him, but also we just really want desserts, because all we ever got was that crappy angel food cake. Yeah. And it's just not cutting it.
Right.
I got a hunger a-brewin', said Tumblin Toby.
He said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because he had a hunger a-brewin'.
Okay,
so that's why he said that.
Sure.
He's trying
Have they eaten since a day ago?
Well, they had tea with their...
Do they have
book.
food? They have other food? They learned how to farm, which is good, but...
Yeah, so they planted some seeds after they read their book last night, but it takes a while for stuff to grow.
That's good. That's a really good thing for them to be doing, instead of trying to steal cake from people and stuff. Yeah,
well, they had talked about maybe taking up farming and leaving their life of crime behind. So they started planting seeds, and they're going to see what happens with that, and maybe they'll become farmers.
Great.
But in the meantime, they still really want some dessert. So, and one thing I was going to say was that Tumblin Toby said, because he had a hunger a-brewin', he said, I've got a hunger a-brewin', because remember how he really looked up to Gregory, like a father figure? He wished he had a dad like that, who was more comfortable expressing himself. So he's trying to become more comfortable expressing himself Gregory is.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we got to rescue Petey and get us some of those desserts. So they head back toward the castle. And they find the catapult. And they're like, well, we might as well use this, because I don't think we're going to be able to sneak back in through that entrance. I can hear a lot of merriment going on in there. It seems like there's some kind of festival going on.
Shindig.
So
soiree, if you will.
Yeah, soiree. So probably the heightened security will be in effect.
Yeah.
So they, one by one, launch themselves over the wall, or launch each other over the wall. And then the last two people are standing there, Stinky Jones and...
What about Tumblin Toby?
Tumblin Toby is standing there too. He's one of the last to go.
When he gets launched, to him it's gonna seem like forever.
I know. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to think about.
Because of his wherewithal.
Yep. So Stinky Jones is like, listen, I'm not going last, because last time I got stuck on the other side of this wall, because you can't operate this catapult by yourself. And Tumblin Toby is like, yeah, you can. You just flip this switch, and then the handle moves, and then you can reach it from the catapult basket.
How does he know this?
Well, because he read a book that when he was a kid called How to Use Catapults in Medieval Times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Written by, Gregory's father. Franklin. So anyway, he's like, I know a lot about catapults because I read this very comprehensive guide to them. Mm-hmm. And so Stinky Jones is like, okay, well, that's cool. I guess I'll go last then.
Yeah.
And so he launches Tumblin Toby, and he's up there for like an hour.
To him, it's like an hour.
Yeah, it's not very long for everybody else, but to him, it's like an hour.
What does he think about while he's up there?
He's just thinking about, well, what is he thinking about?
What's he thinking about?
He's thinking about how to talk to a girl that he likes.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a girl he likes.
Yeah, he saw her in the crowd when they got roped into being the band last time.
Yeah.
And he's trying to figure out if he sees her again, what he's going to say, how he's going to approach her.
Sure.
You know, because he's just a lowly brigand. Mm-hmm. And she lives in the Kingdom of Thorns, so...
Yeah.
He doesn't know if it's going to work out, but he's got to talk to her. So he's trying to plan out his next move.
Does he know anything else about this girl?
No, he knows that she's a girl.
Okay.
He's a simple man.
Sure, yeah.
He thinks she's attractive, and he wants to get to know her better.
Sure.
So Stinky Jones is on the other side, and he's like, okay, so I just flip the switch, and then the handle rotates over, and then I'll be able to reach it from the basket. But he can't figure it out, and Tumblin Toby is gone.
Oh, no.
Tumblin Toby's gone, and Tumblin Toby's the one who knows a lot about catapults.
Oh.
And so Stinky Jones is just stuck on the outside again. Yeah. So they reconvene on the other side, and they open the door to the shed and discover a bunch of destroyed desserts and no Petey and a whole bunch of footprints outside that indicate a bit of a struggle.
A struggle.
When they took him into custody.
I'm assuming it was Derek's footprints because he was probably stomping extra hard.
He probably was because he liked to say stomp, stomp, stomp,
Yeah.
stomp, stomp.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, crap. He must have been captured.
Yeah.
We got to save him.
Yeah.
And who knows how that's going to happen.
Who knows?
Who even knows? The end.
What?
For now.
Oh no! Who's gonna? How are we? What happens?
Well, I don't know, but my story is called, oh goodness, Tumblin Toby. Should it still be called Tumblin Toby?
Yeah.
Okay, Tumblin Toby and the
Petey situation?
I was going to say in the rescue mission.
The Petey rescue?
Petey situation.
Tumblin Toby and the Petey situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Craig, could you tell me a story?
Okay. Although they're still in the Petey situation. But yeah,
but maybe the Petey situation wraps up and yours can have a different story.
Could be.
A different title.
Oh, I already know what my story is.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You've told it before?
I just know. It's just there in the world, and I'm going to tell it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait to find out.
You want to know?
Yeah. Could you please tell me?
So we last saw our heroes fall into the cake house.
Yes.
And then they saw footprints outside.
Yes.
They went in to save Petey, but also get cake.
Right.
And there's not that much cake left because Petey ate a lot of it.
Oh my God, so much cake.
Yes. So a couple of the brigands just friggin' gobbled up the cake.
Whatever was left?
Yeah, the ones that got to it first. Which were Jorge.
Oh, more characters. Great.
Jorge.
That's what we need.
Multi-feet. That's his nickname, Multi-feet.
Because he's got more than 1 foot?
Yeah, exactly. Because he has more than 1 foot.
Wow.
Yeah, and John. Mm-hmm. John. Yeah.
Okay.
John is his nickname because he goes to the bathroom a lot.
Right.
So they call him John.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you've introduced more characters.
Yeah, well, there's 20 brigands. I mean, they're just not nameless. These aren't nameless brigands.
Okay.
Come on.
Oh, man.
On.
You know, lots of stories and television shows and things have, like, whole groups of people, but, like, some of them are characters that you know, and some of them are just there. And that's okay, too.
No.
Okay.
It's not. It really bothers me that I don't know the names of everyone in the Night's Watch in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Really bothers me.
Okay, so Jorge...
Or everyone at King's Landing.
Jorge Multifeet.
Really bothers me.
I'm so sorry.
So anyway, they ate the rest of the cake.
Okay.
So no one else got it, and they were angry, and they're like, "We need to find more cake." And then, but Terrence One Brain is like, "We also need to save Petey. You read the farming book with me, right? You realize that the more of us there are, the better we're going to be at the farming."
Right. Oh, so this is maybe like a last hurrah for them as brigands.
Possibly.
Before they transition to their lives as farmers.
Possibly.
Oh, man.
But I mean, it's just sort of a pipe dream. They don't really know. That's what Stanley's like, we're never going to be good at farming. You saw how terrible our soil is. Nothing's going to grow in there.
Sure.
And they all kind of agree. Yeah, it's probably true. But Terrence is like, we could try harder. You know, we could work at it. Mm-hmm. It's just never going to work. The soil, nothing really grows outside of the Kingdom of Thorns except for thorns.
Ah.
And random trees. You never see farms along the countryside because it just doesn't work. And maybe it has something to do with the rain.
Oh. Probably not.
Probably not, but maybe.
Maybe.
Anyway, so Terrence is like, well, fine. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to split up. We're going to go, half of us are going to go save Petey. Half of us are going to go find more cake. Okay.
Good plan.
Tumblin Toby's like, ooh. He starts to say, ooh, I want to go save, and Terrence cuts him off. You're going to go find cake. And he's like, oh, great. Okay. Sure.
Terrence just gets to decide everything.
Because Tumblin Toby is full. His belly is full. He announced it earlier.
He had a hunger brewing.
Oh, he had
He's hungry.
Oh, he had a hunger brewing. That's right. Reverse that. He said, oh, I could go eat cake. He said, no, you're going to go help me find Petey.
Aw.
Yeah, because.
Aw.
And then they split up. Different people go different places. We don't need to name all of them and where they're going. But,
okay.
So Terrence and Tumblin Toby and the group, they follow the tracks because they assume that is where Petey was taken, and the rest of them, they go the opposite direction. They go to the right. The tracks go to the left.
Okay.
So the other group, led by Stanley Two Legs, because he has 2 legs, so he can lead. He can walk. You know, he can lead the charge.
Right. Most people have 2 legs.
Yes. So does he, though.
Okay.
Yes. And so Stanley's leading the group, and they find a door to stairs going down. Mm-hmm.
What?
And then Terrence and his group, Terrence and Tumblin Toby and their group, they find a door, and and the stairs going up. So apparently they must have taken Petey to a different cage. Maybe if it's just an individual, they have a different area for him or something.
Maybe he's put in a tower.
Could be in a tower. Yes.
How do they know that they have gone the right way?
The footsteps.
Oh, the tracks.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But then once they get to the stairs,
because they were like these tracks are very straightforward and to the point. So clearly they're Gregory's because he's a very straightforward to the point guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also and so then the other group, the group going after the cake, Stanley Two Legs group, they come across some tracks that seem kind of deep and really, really well in there.
Uh-huh. As if someone were stomp, stomp, stomping.
And saying stomp, stomp as they went. Yeah.
It's weird how you can pick that up just by looking at tracks.
Yeah, so they follow the tracks. They go down. There's dirt on the stairs, so they can see tracks on the stairs. Not that they need to see tracks on the stairs, because stairs really only go one direction.
Sure.
But they get down. They see the tracks continue. They follow the tracks through this dark dungeon, dank dungeon even.
Dank.
Yeah, and not like a dank meme, but
No.
like a dank dungeon.
Right.
And they hear people cooking up stuff. They hear hustle and bustle up ahead.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Clinging and clanging?
Clanking and clonking.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And so they continue on, and then they hear, halt! I am telling you to halt right now. Do not continue into the chef's room where they make the cakes. They turn around and they see a guard. It's not the same guard. It's the guard that they met outside near the exit to the kingdom.
Oh,
Bevan.
Bevan.
Yeah.
Bevan's back. Back
again.
again. Bevan's back.
Don't tell anybody.
Because
then the more guards will come.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh great, there's a guard here. But luckily they have weapons. They're brigands.
Right.
And normally they're peaceful brigands, but they're so hungry now at this point.
They're really hungry.
They don't think their plants are going to grow. They're not. It's going to take a while before they get any food for their farm. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna not take this standing sitting down.
Yeah.
You know. And then Bevan's like, just so you know, I also have other guards hidden around the corner in case you guys attack me, and I don't want you to know about them because then the element of surprise is gone.
Oh, no. He really shouldn't have said that then.
Right. Because he thought maybe the original plan was they were going to end this once and for all and kill all of those brigands.
Right.
With surprise. But he told them the surprise. So then the other guards kind of they're annoyed and they stumble out of their corner, and then there's several guards.
Oh, Bevan.
And so Stanley and his group are about to battle a bunch of guards.
Oh my goodness.
Meanwhile, the Terrence One Brain and Tumblin Toby and the group, they start walking up these stairs. It's a tower that they're going up. Uh-huh. And Tumblin Toby looks out the window and sees the girl that he likes. She's in the marketplace.
Oh wow!
Yeah, their festival is getting going, and she's dancing
by herself.
Yeah, dancing by herself.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, I want to remember this moment, so he falls.
So that he has more time.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and so it's like 5 minutes of him falling and looking out the window at this girl dancing in slow motion.
How, if he's falling, doesn't he lose sight of the window eventually?
Eventually, but it's a pretty tall window.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So he just deliberately falls down.
Yes, he does.
Wow.
And as he falls, he knocks into some brigands, and they fall, and they make a noise, and Gregory busts in at the bottom of the tower, and he's like, I'm busting in at the bottom of the tower. I'm going to come after you now, brigands, because I heard someone fall. And here I go. I'm going up the steps right now. Look out. And the brigand's like, oh no. And then they get up. Tumblin Toby eventually, he gets up, and they keep going up the stairs, and they get to the top, and there's a row of cages, and then a door to another.
You keep calling them cages. I think you mean cells.
Cells, whatever. And a door into another room. But in one of those cells is Petey.
Oh, they found him.
Yeah.
But now they have to get him out. And Gregory is coming.
And they assume Gregory has the key.
Sure, that's a pretty safe assumption. He is the guard.
Right. So they gather around the cage. Tumblin Toby, though, he wants to see that girl again.
Right.
So he assumes through that door there might be a balcony that he could go see the girl. Mm-hmm. And so what he does is goes out the balcony and he does see the girl. But you know what else he sees? This weird giant machine.
What?
Yeah, it's like a cannon pointed at the sky.
Oh my goodness. Like a weapon?
Like a weapon.
What? Why would it be pointed at the sky?
I don't know. It looks like it's not like any cannon he's ever seen before.
No.
It's got more things on it. Nooks and crannies and gizmos and doodads.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's got doodads?
Yeah.
That's pretty technologically advanced for the medieval times.
Right. So then Gregory comes up the stairs. They gear up for a fight. Gregory's a very big guard. He could probably take these 9 brigands, possibly. But they need to get that key and they need to get Petey out. So they gear up. They get ready.
Oh my goodness.
And he charges. They battle down in the dungeon. Battle's happening. There's people getting conked on the head, and no one's died yet. They're just battling.
That's good.
Yeah. So Tumblin Toby, he's
on the balcony, right?
He's on the balcony. He sees the girl. She's still dancing, but he's like, he also gets a glimpse. There's a little sort of window into the dungeon way on the other side of the castle, and he gets a glimpse of the battle happening there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's like, oh my goodness, they're battling in the room over here, they're battling down there. What I guess maybe I should try to fire this weapon at them?
Yeah.
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 And so he turns the weapon, points it down at the dungeon, and fires.
Oh my goodness. He doesn't even know what any of these knobs and doodads and gizmos do. He's just guessing.
Yeah, but he fires it. He thinks he fires it towards the bad guys.
Right.
The guards. To him, the bad guys. And what happens is a giant, weird, powdery mist thing plumes out of the weapon.
Whoa.
And goes down into the market and it spreads much further than he thought it was going to.
Yeah.
And it goes kind of all over the festival and the battle that's happening in the dungeon, and even up into the battle by the cage. And everyone becomes real passive.
Oh, it's the same stuff?
And everyone's like, everyone's like, hey, why are we fighting, dude? Here, let me let Petey out. So Gregory lets Petey out. I'm letting Petey out right now because I don't know why we're fighting. I feel very passive right now, and you guys are my friends now. And they're like, great, we feel the same way, bro. They all say that in unison.
Nice.
Yeah. And then down in the dungeon, they're all like, yeah, we're friends, we're buddies. And the chefs are like, they were already getting along, and now they're like super friends. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the kitchen making the cake, and they put extra love into the cake.
Whoa!
And it becomes the best cake they've ever made.
Do they give any to the brigands who were out there in the hall? Because they're real hungry.
Here's the thing.
I'm worried about them getting food.
Susan sees what happens from her tower.
Oh my goodness!
The powder did not reach her.
Uh-oh.
And she immediately yells out, "Halt! Halt what you are doing! You will not give cake to these brigands. Put them in the cage." And they're like, oh, really? That doesn't... well, I guess. So then Petey's already out of his cage. And Gregory is so passive that he tries to gather them into a cage, but he can't. Mm-hmm. And the girl...
Yes.
That Tumblin Toby sees down in the market. She just kind of stops dancing. She's just kind of standing there like happy, smiling, passive. She just sits down on a bench, and Tumblin Toby's like, I should get her attention. I should tell her how I feel now, because I'm seeing how everyone seems really nice right now. Maybe this is the best time to talk to her.
Maybe.
Yeah. And he's like, hey, he yells. He can't get her attention. And so then he decides, this weapon's really loud. Maybe I can get her to look at it if I shoot it again. But I won't shoot it at anyone, because I don't want to. I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And I don't want to risk me being infected by whatever it is.
He hasn't been hit by it?
No.
Okay, that's good.
So he turns the weapon into and he goes up into the air, points it in the air. And he's like, well, what is this weapon anyway? Maybe I shouldn't be meddling with things if I don't know how they work. So he looks over at this the controls. There's a lot of complicated controls, and he pops open a little drawer that's on there, and it's this giant instruction manual.
Oh, that's useful.
It is, but it's big, and it's going to take a while. So he has to fall and read it.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
Yeah. So he falls, he flips through, and he discovers something. He falls several times.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot to read.
Yeah. And eventually he gets to a point in the instructions which gives him a great idea. Changes the dials on the weapon. Mm-hmm. Fires it into the air. It rains super hard. Their seeds that they planted over at the Hubble start growing. He used the fertilizer setting.
What?
Trees start growing. More thorns start growing everywhere.
That's not great.
But their garden is growing.
That's good.
Yeah, it's in fact they got like a full crop now over at their Hubble. Yeah, and the girl heard the noise, looked up, and he's like, "Hey, it was me. Hey, I like you. You're pretty." But the problem is, it's like everyone looked up, so she doesn't know.
She doesn't know he's talking to her.
And everyone's like, "Thank you very much." Yeah, and so the guards in the dungeon are trying to gather up all the people that they're fighting into a cage, but they're too passive and they just really can't do it. And Susan's still barking out orders, and it's not really working. And Tumblin Toby decides to walk with the rest of the brigands down the tower into the market, and they try to enjoy the market and the cake in the festival with everyone else. And it seems to be working.
They get to eat something?
They do. They enjoy it. And Tumblin Toby goes over to the girl and kneels before her and says, "You are quite fair, my medieval lady person." Uh-huh. And she's like, "Oh, thank you. Are you the gentleman who fired that weapon?" And like, "Yes, I did it in your honor." She's like, "Oh, that's weird, but thank you." And then Susan pops up.
Oh, no.
And she's like, "You do not talk to my daughter."
Oh, gosh.
Tumblin
It was the
Toby.
princess?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And that's it.
Oh, my gosh.
Mm-hmm. The end. To be continued.
Suspenseful. Mm-hmm. Of course, he would fall in love with the princess. Mm-hmm. And he, a lowly brigand. Mm-hmm. Wow. What's your story called?
Tumblin Toby and the Dank Dungeon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though he wasn't in the dungeon.
That's okay.
But I just like the alliteration.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. All right. So to recap, we had Tumblin Toby and the Petey situation, and Tumblin Toby in the Dank Dungeon today. Wonderful. Well, we'll have to see some other day where the rest of the story goes.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I feel like it's mostly wrapped up except for one big issue.
The princess?
Yeah. And
also that they're still considered brigands and they're stuck in the castle.
True. Right now everyone's passive, though.
Except Queen Susan.
That's true. That's true. But she's having trouble barking out orders because everyone's so passive.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
On the next installment.
Yep.
All right.
Of the Tumblin Toby saga.
So next week, we will be doing stories from your suggestions again. We're going to probably alternate weeks doing stories from listener suggestions and then revisiting an old story.
Probably Tumblin Toby until that one's over.
Until that's wrapped up. But then we'll go back to another old story.
Yes. It was actually kind of my goal to wrap up this one, but there was just a few loose ends. Couldn't do it.
Yep.
Couldn't do it.
Well, we will see what happens next time and probably wrap it up here pretty soon.
Yes.
So if you want to send us any suggestions for stories that we could tell you next week, you can email us, storynotstorypodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter @storiesinbed. We've got a Facebook page.
Facebook.com/storynotstory.
Instagram, which I don't know why you would tell us about story suggestions on Instagram, but you totally can.
Yeah, Instagram.com/storynotstorypodcast.
We don't post there very often, but we do occasionally.
And we should more.
Yeah. And
I feel like that's just a common thing these days. Everyone says, I should post more to blank. I should post more to this. I should do this more. Well, you know what? You don't have to do that. We can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that's a side story.
But if you want to give us something to post on our Instagram, you could illustrate a part of a story that we tell.
Yeah.
And send it in to us, and we will share it on our social medias.
On our meads.
Yeah.
And we might drink mead while we do so.
I probably won't because I'm pregnant.
Good. That was a test. You passed.
Yes.
We also have a Patreon page, patreon.com/storynotstory, where you can support our story.
You can support our story and get cool stuff in return. Not physical stuff, because that is a lot of effort. But we send out our sound check recordings that are really fun before we start recording the podcast. We have to make sure the sound is good.
Yep.
Each month we tell you an extra story that only patrons get to hear.
Only patrons get it. We've done like 3 of them now, and they're all good.
Yeah.
Or 4. Maybe 4.
Who knows?
I don't know. Who counts?
Nobody counts.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's about it.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.
Good night.
Good night.